It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I want to thank each one of our listeners today that have tuned into this podcast and the ones that will be listening to the recording. I am very grateful for each one of you. And I am just really excited today to have my returning monthly diva with me, Lori Murphy. And her and I are going to chat about animals as best friends. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be awesome. So, Lori, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Murphy, and I'm the owner of Sugar Ditch Stables in Northern California.
Oh, awesome. So you have stables. So how exciting. That's another exciting part. So you will be really good at talking about animals as best friends, living in a stable and having one with the animals around. So what is one of the first animals that maybe comes to your mind that you have experienced as having them as your best friend?
Oh, gosh. That would probably be a finch. I got a finch when I was about 8 years old, I guess. And I tried for the longest time when we lived in Idaho I set a trap to catch a bird. And it was like right out of the Looney Tunes kind of, you pull the stick and the box falls down. Well, my intention was just to get a pet bird. Well, that never worked. So my mom finally got me a finch, and her favorite actor was Henry Fonda. And so his name was Henry until Henry laid an egg, and then it was Henrietta. And so that was probably the first pet that that was my best friend, little tiny finch with little rosy cheeks. But oh my gosh, that would probably be my first memory of, my best friend as a pet. So now I've had literally hundreds of furry best friends.
Oh, how exciting. And you were 8 years old when you had this little finch.
Yes. I grew up with, I had lots of animal friends growing up because we lived on a ranch. We had horses and chickens and everything. But that one really stands out. That was my very own pet. So, and it was, my best friend.
Oh, goodness. So you were in charge of taking care of it and talking to it and telling it your secrets as an 8-year-old.
Absolutely. Yes. The adventures we went on.
Oh, how exciting. And that is really neat. And for the first one to be a bird like that just that really starts out well, because it shows us we can have all kinds of animals as best friends. Because a lot of times I think what comes to mind is a dog, a cat, a horse, and your first best friend was a bird. Oh, how precious. Yeah. That is just awesome. Well, as you grew older, how did... and even going back to the little finch, how do you feel it helped influence your life as an 8-year-old?
Gosh, I think it probably taught me a lot of responsibility because I had to take care of him. I had to earn the money to buy his seed, so I had to do chores. And, the responsibility and just the love of a pet. And now I'm just pet crazy. I have, they're so much better than people, as horrible as that sounds. I'd rather hang out with horses.
I always say they love you unconditionally. And all they ask is for your care and love in return. That's all they ask.
That's exactly right.
Yep. And what is so beautiful about the friendship with an animal, at least in my experiences. And that's what I do. I love it. I absolutely love them. And yes, my best friends are truly my animals. And
sure.
I love that, how you explain that the finch taught you responsibility at a young age. And teaching you that as an 8-year-old, it carries on throughout your life. And that is what's beautiful, too. These animals teach us so much. It's just incredible if we just stop and look and listen to them.
Oh, that is so true.
Well, and then as you got a little older, what animal then became your next best friend from the finch?
That would have to be my cat Raider. When we moved to California, of course, I was a Raider fan for a long time, and it's embarrassing at this point, but but I was. So I had this cat named Raider that was my absolute best friend, and I that was the first pet that I was that close with. I mean, he slept on my bed with me. He everything. I had a bowl of cereal. He had it with me. You know, yeah, that was probably the closest pet I've ever had was Raider, and he's been gone. And I'm not kidding. I still miss this cat. February will be 30 years that he has been gone, and I still miss my cat. There's no other cat like him. Although my daughter has a house cat now that is absolutely just one of us girls, because, I mean, everything we do, when we go to the fridge, she goes to the fridge. But that's my daughter's best friend. But, you know, there's no replacing that. You know, you get new relationships with new animals, but you always have that one that, so.
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, and like you said, we get new relationships with other animals, but they're always in our heart, and that cat is with you in spirit everywhere you go. And
for sure.
That's what to me is so awesome. They're watching over us all the time because they're always with us. They know us better than anybody else, so they can see a lot of these things, and they're always there to share their love, whether they're there in form or whether they're there in spirit. I feel they're always definitely there. And that's always such a wonderful feeling to know that their spirit lives on with us all the time.
Yes. You know, funny thing is, I always think to myself, all my pets know my level of crazy because they hear me talk to myself. And so they must say, "Ooh, she's having a rough day today." You know, it's funny because you don't talk to yourself around anybody but your animals. You know, so they know. They are the closest to us because they know all of our little weirdness and secrets.
Yes, they do. Yes, I've said that so many times. I've said my little red healer knows me better than anybody in this world knows me, and probably ever will know me, because he knows me from the inside totally. And that it is a beautiful relationship when you share it with an animal. They're in the way I feel. It's how do you feel? How do you describe the best friend relationship that you had with that cat or with some of the other animals that have come into your life? You know,
it's funny. Well, with the horses, you know, if I am not down there working at the stables and doing something or fixing fences or just hanging out with them all day, you miss them. It's like, you know, I need to go get my cowboy fixes. And Cowboy's my quarter horse. And, you know, I just sit there and talk to them. I just sit out there. The neighbors the neighbors, they don't have pets or anything. So who are you talking to? I'm talking to the horses. Why, you know, they know what I'm talking about, you know, but it's a friendship that is unconditional, like you said, but you can just go and have your vent and then walk away, and they're like, all right. But on the other hand, you can just go down and love on them, and they're just right there for you. You know, Roxy, I think we discussed her last month and her head injury. Yeah, she's hanging in there. Yeah. And so when I have to break up her food now, she can't pull the flakes apart. So I break it up so that she could just bite it. And the night before last, she doesn't want to get too close, and one side on her blind side, she won't let you get anywhere near her. The other day, she just put her head on my chest and sat there for a minute. So I said, she's feeling better, and she's thankful. So, because like I told her, I said, you got two choices. You can lay down and die, or you can keep fighting. So she chose to stay upright. So bless her heart. She's a sweet girl, and hopefully she's healing the proper way. But so each one of them have their own personality, and each one of them are my best friends. And I tell every one of them, you're my favorite. But I have to go, you're my favorite paint, or you're my favorite quarter horse, because then the other ones will hear you, and then they,
Oh, Lori, I love that, because I do the same thing. I tell my gray horse, you're my favorite gray horse in the whole world. I tell my bay horse that. I tell my mare.
That's what I tell. I say, okay, good night, cowboy. You're my favorite quarter horse. And then, then we have the Appy, and then we have the pony, and, so none of it. It's funny how we do that.
Yes, that really is. And you just touched my heart when you said how Roxy came to you and just put her head on your chest, like pure gratitude. I mean, that is so much to learn from an animal too, because they show so much gratitude towards you. And just like her, she's showing you that she's thankful you gave her this opportunity to choose and to help her to be able to eat her food and be able to keep going, because that was her wish, definitely, with the way she is fighting. So, and you gave her the opportunity to do that. And they teach us gratitude all the time, because they show it all the time. It's just amazing.
And it was like she was thanking me. It was just absolutely sweet. And at that moment you go, okay, she'll be all right. She'll be fine.
Yep. You felt in your heart. It was in your heart that told you, yes, she'll be fine. And she was telling you that. She was telling you, I'm okay. You're taking care of me, and this is what I need. Oh, that is a beautiful story, Lori. I just love that. That just touches my heart with the gratitude and the appreciation that they show, and they do. It's I have an older one now that I'm mixing him a mash every day and his feed, and he's just, oh man, he's so excited for that. I'm like, he's just thankful that we see it in them, that they need something a little bit extra, and need that extra because they give so much to us in return. It's just incredible.
It is.
As you've been around, you're like me, you've been around animals pretty much all your life. They've always been a part of your life. I always say they're not just in my life, they are my life, because they're my life. I love my animals. So when people are saying you get attached to them and you love on them like this, and they show the gratitude, they show the appreciation towards you, how do you feel that you give back? We've talked a little bit, but how do you feel you give back to them to show them your love and appreciation towards them also?
Well, I would think it would be just spending time with them, of course, tending to them, and they depend on us completely once we have them,
Right.
I think that the gratitude is just simply going down, and I'll hug on my horses. I will just go out there and go, okay, I need a hug horse, or a horse hug. And I don't know, only horse people get this. They have a smell to them. That is the most amazing smell ever. And you can tell a horse person from a non-horse person, because I'll go, smell them, they smell so good. They're like, ugh. And I'm like, you are so not a horse person. It's a special, you know the smell.
Yes.
And I think just taking care of them and loving on them. And, of course, we have birthdays out here. So everybody gets apples or carrots on their birthday. And everybody gets them when we celebrate a birthday out here. Or, so I think that just the love and the attention, I think that's where they know that I appreciate every last one of them, and especially when I say, okay, you're tired, you can retire now. I think that they go, oh, okay, I get to retire now. But I think just the attention for them and to them are, they can tell how grateful I am to have them.
Yes. Yes. Well, that is beautiful because kind of what I was thinking, we show our love and gratefulness back to them, just like if it was a human best friend, like recognizing their birthdays. And instead of calling like a human, we would call them on the phone and say, how's your day? Or we'd text them or something. We'd rather go out and show our love to the animals. So to me, it's so much, you do a lot of the same things, you just do it in a little different way to show them that they are your best friend and how much you do love and care about them. Oh, that's beautiful how you put that, because it just makes really the comparisons of how people would do it with a human best friend. Only, like I said, in a little different way is how you show them that love and affection. It's just beautiful. It's just so, and like you said about the smell of a horse, my daughter and I have often said we need to have a perfume that smells like horses, and man, we'd love that.
Wow, yeah.
Now, other people may
I don't know
not.
if everybody else would, though.
I don't know either. But us horse people sure would.
Yeah, like air freshener in your house. Smells like horses in here. And
yep,
and for all the listeners that haven't ever smelt a horse, go out and smell a horse. It is like smelling flowers in the morning. It's incredible. When you have that, have that passion with horses and that connection, it's like smelling a bouquet of roses when you smell your horses.
Definitely. Oh, I love that. Oh, wow. Well, would you say at this time in your life, your horses are your best friends right now?
Oh, for sure, and my dog. I have a big lab.
And
it's hard to pick because I rely on all of them to balance me. Because, with everything else that's going on, that when you just need a balance. And even though I do get cranky or tired, I shouldn't say cranky, but when I get tired, if I work the ranch all day long and stuff, and I talk to every one of them and I say goodnight to every one of them when I feed them and stuff. And I think that sometimes I'm like, I'm tired, but they if I was cranky like that to a human, they're not going to want to be around me too much, But the horses stick it out. The dog sticks it out. It still just wags its tail like best thing since sliced bread. So those are unconditional best friends right there.
Yes, they are. They definitely are. And I love how you said it helps balance you out. And they do. Be it the dog, and they each have their own special way. I mean, I have 3 horses, and all 3 of them show it completely different in appreciation and gratitude, and help balance me in completely different ways, because I've learned different things from each one of them. Do you feel like you have learned from each individual horse, and like your dog, you've learned different ways to help balance your life out from each one?
Oh, absolutely. Each one of my horses has a little of me in them. And what I mean by that is I see characteristics in the horses as I do in myself, and it's like a life lesson. I have one horse named Tank, and he was a rescue. He's the prettiest horse you've ever seen, and just a short, stocky, amazing animal. But he doesn't trust real good. If you put him in a corner, he could bite you. And that's part of me. That's part of me. Don't put me in a corner. I might bite you. And each one of them. And then, of course, we have Dusty, the blind girl that's pushing 50 years old. That, I'm partly her, too, because I'm tired. I'm tired, and she's kind, and she trusts. And so each one of these horses, I see a part of me in. If that sounds kind of strange, but then there's the hardworking horse, and then there's each one of them has part of me in them, and I don't know if it's just me seeing that, going, I recognize this part of me in this horse, and especially with Tank. One day I was complaining to somebody, one of my dear friends, and she goes, "Oh, it sounds like somebody I know." Because I was like, "Yeah, you cornered that one," and he gets a little, he's not gonna be pushed around, and he'll bite you. And she said, "That sounds like somebody I know," and then I was like, "Wow. Yeah, that is kind of like me on that part," but because I'm very strong-willed, and so my parents used to call Henri, but after a while you can kind of tell You guys have, each of us have something in common that you can relate with.
Definitely.
So, and with Roxy, I'm completely grateful for so many things. And so when she did that, that was, oh, wow, that's a grateful animal right there. So.
Yes. Oh, and what's so beautiful is you see that in them, and you see yourself being reflected. They always say horses are a mirror to our life, and they are. They are mirroring different aspects of our own personalities. And just like you are seeing that in each individual one of them, how they mirror what you are on the inside. And that is beautiful that you have recognized that and appreciate that horse for being that. That was very heart touching. I love that, Lori. That was beautifully put.
Thank you. Yeah, each one of them, Oh, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. Each one of them.
Oh, I was going to say we have a Shetland pony that she's, I was laughing at myself just now because she's short and chunky. And I always say, hey, you're starting to look, we got to back up our feed here because you're as tall as you are wide. And I don't know if I've mentioned this through the, past podcasts or not, but I'm one of 9 and I am 5'2.5", and I have a 6-foot sister. I am the shortest one. My brother was 6'4". I mean, everybody is super tall. My mother was 5'11". So I had 2 short grandmothers, and I'm 5'2.5" on my best day. And my Ariots give me 5 inches, or I'm not 5 inches, 3 inches. They make me 5'5". So I just, shout out to Ariot with those boots because they help a short girl out a lot. But anyway, so I relate to that one too.
Oh, how beautiful. Yes. And that explains to our listeners so well the relationship and how you, like I said, how you have mirrored yourself in each one of those horses. And that really gives a great explanation of how they have become your best friends, because you see yourself in them too, and how they love you. They love you for each part of you is what I'm hearing too. Each one of them has a special characteristic, and they love you. And I love that. That is incredible. How beautiful. Well, what about your dog? I want to hear a little more about your best friend, your lab.
Bo is he's all lab. He is a 123-pound silly. Oh my gosh, that dog is goofy. But I have to say, he stays outside at night. And we had a mountain lion come through, and we think that's what happened to Roxy. But he is the absolute best watchdog. But a constant barking dog can kind of be a bit much. He is the best watchdog. He knows who's supposed to be here and who's not supposed to be here. We have a family of turkeys that hang out on the ranch every day, and he knows when and when not to bark. But that dog, I always say, stop being, because when I'm cranky or something, I'll go tend to him and everything, feed him and tend to him, and he's happy no matter what. That dog is always excited to see me. I'm like, I'm not even this excited to see me. And I told him the other night, I go, stop, Bo. Nobody's this happy to see me, okay? Can you just stop for a minute? Because he's like jumping all around, and he's a big boy. And so, and I have to laugh at myself. I go, wow, whenever I get down, he's always happy to see me. It's probably because I control the food, but, he's never not happy.
Yeah. They're always so excited to see you.
Yeah, if he could wag his tail anymore, he would fall over. That's how. He's just wagging for days. But yeah, he's a sweetheart. He is an absolute sweetheart, and he's 9 now, and you wouldn't know it because he has the energy as when he was a year old. And I think that might be a lab trait, but just a great. He's just a great dog, and he's just, like I said, he's always happy. And I think to myself, Lauren, why don't you just be always happy like this dog, And then I go, well, because of this, and this. But then you have to turn back and go, that dog is happy. Does everybody be happy like the dog? And have you ever seen an unhappy dog? That's a loved pet? No, they're always happy.
Right. And they're always happy to see their owners. I said,
Oh.
If we were as happy to see others as our dog is happy to see us, oh my, what a world it would be. But
for
they
sure.
are just, I mean, we can be apart for 2 minutes, and it's like we hadn't seen each other for 2 hours. They're just ecstatic. You're here.
Jumping around, yes. And like I said, he's 123 pounds he's an English lab, and he is just a happy, dorky dog. But he's the first one he will protect us no matter what, But when I would have the kids out and stuff, I didn't bring him out around because he really likes everybody, and he's big. So if he comes at you, you got to kind of make a stance because, prepare, because if he jumps on you, if he doesn't usually do it, but if he does, he's going to knock you over. So get some good footing when Bo's coming at you.
But how beautiful to describe that kind of a relationship and the happiness he shows towards you and the love. I mean, he's so happy to see you. He's just bubbling full of love is what I call it. They're overflowing, and I am too. I mean, I see my dogs and I'm like, oh my word, I just love you so much. And yeah, we may have only been apart. I may have walked across the yard and walked back across, and it's like, oh my goodness, we got to have a hug again.
What gets me is I'll say hi to dogs that walk in, if somebody's walking a dog, or if they come in the place I'm at, I was like, oh, hi, you greet the animal before you the human.
Well, I always say I'm better at remembering the dog or the horse's name than I am at remembering the person's name, which...
Oh, isn't that a true story? My goodness, that's me.
I'm like, okay, I can remember your dog, but I'm not sure what your name is.
Exactly.
Oh, well, it's good to know I'm not the only one that does that. I love that. Oh, but yes, they are just true best friends. There is just no other way to describe it with these animals. They are incredible. They were created to bring so much joy into our world if we just take the time and love them and care for them and see the joy that they can bring into our lives. I absolutely love how you started with a finch from something so small and so little, and we've come all the way up to the horses now that are big, beautiful, majestic animals, and how each one played that part in your life as being a best friend. That is absolutely beautiful, Lori. I love it. Lori, do you have anything you would like to close with today? Lori Murphy for being my guest on this invigorating sharing of animals as best friends. And be sure to share this podcast with all your family and friends. Check out all the hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Be kind to all. Give your animals a great big hug and share your love with them. Until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.